Idaho Matters podcast is brought to you by St. Luke's On Demand Virtual Care, which allows patients to see a provider from their home using a computer or smartphone with on demand care for common ailments such as a cough, sore throat, or a sinus issue. More information at stlukesonline.org. From Boundary to Bear Lake, Fremont to Payette, Oahe to Oneida, there are interesting people, places, and histories in all of Idaho's counties. And Idaho Matters wants to share it with you with stories from all 44 counties that make up the Gem State. Email your ideas to idahomatters@boisestate.edu or use the Talk to Us feature in our app, available on Apple and Android, and tune in each weekday at noon for Idaho Matters. More Idaho Matters now from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Gaudette. We've all heard that what we put on our plate matters, but did you know that changing your food habits can not only improve your health, but also combat climate change? And all it takes is a transition to more plant-rich eating. That is the topic Boise Community Climate Action Committee member Mark Masaryk and retired educator Ellen Bush will be tackling during their Thursday presentation at the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. And we're lucky enough to have them on the program to tell us more about how our food choices impact our personal and our planet's health. I want to welcome both of you to the program today.
Hey, good afternoon, Gemma.
Thank you so much. You just summed it up.
Well, I guess we don't have to do the interview then. No, I'm kidding. We will. Mark, let me start off with you. Can you share a bit about what inspired you to focus on plant-rich eating?
Sure. There's a few things that led me on this path. First is my education and career has focused on environmental protection, which over time included the threat of global warming. Aligned with that, I have an interest and a commitment to healthy eating, vegetable gardening, and actually sharing this passion with others. So when I met Ellen and learned about Project Drawdown Solutions, that pretty much cemented our relationship and our commitment to engage the community as a whole on this topic.
Mm-hmm. Ellen, how does a plant-rich lifestyle benefit someone's personal health?
Well, I think in general, the cardiac side of things, the blood pressure side of things from an abundance of red meat is the common understanding.
And Marco, can you explain what are called the 3 Ps of plant-based meals?
Sure, we kind of came up with that for our workshops, and I'm going to actually add a fourth one after the 3. But the first one is planning, and the second is preparation, and then protein sources, and then personal commitment is the fourth one, which we think is very important. On that planning side of it, we first and foremost we try to encourage folks that make it fun. Start with something simple. I mean, this should be an enjoyable journey. It should be an experience to know all of the various array of plant-based foods that are enjoyable and healthy to eat. We encourage them to start simple and small, introduce new foods over time, keep it simple, and then build upon your success. And again, we emphasize having small increments of success so you stick with your commitment and you can foster that approach. And then we certainly advocate for planning ahead and cooking in advance, doing some bulk cooking in advance. On the preparation side of it, there's an array of resources now: cookbooks, websites, social media, family and friends. Challenge yourself to use first what's in your refrigerator and your cupboard perhaps before going to the store. And then on the protein sources, go ahead, Gemma.
No, go ahead on the protein sources. I'm very curious about this one because I have teenage boys.
Yeah, and this is a big deal for a lot of people. I think there's plenty of plant-based protein sources that are available. If you just look at the common laundry list: peanut butter, sesame butters, lentils, chickpeas, beans, pumpkin, sunflower seeds, tofu, and then quinoa. I think a lot of folks are aware of quinoa now. I mean, the cool thing about quinoa is it has the entire list of 9 essential amino acids needed for protein synthesis. So So there's plenty of plant-based protein out there. I mean, how people want to derive their protein sources, our emphasis is just make the majority of your plate plant-based. And then I just want to throw in that fourth P, the personal commitment. Um, it's given that a written commitment is far more powerful than a verbal one. So make a doable commitment, write it down, and then determine what you want to accomplish and follow that. So that's kind of a
So, Mark,
quick, go
a,
ahead,
a
Gemma.
quick rundown of those. So, can we talk about beyond individual health, right? And we all know that eating more plant-based food is always better for us, right? Even if you have maybe some meat in there, making your plate mostly plant-based is a good thing. However, I want to talk a little bit about the fact that what you've been finding is that plant-rich eating can actually help climate change or combat climate change. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, what I'd like to do is Ellen has this great analogy on how we fit into the planet and how that all fits in. So I'd like to defer to her for a minute on that one.
Well, I'll get to the body in a second. We followed the approach of Project Drawdown, which is a science-based, solutions-oriented approach. And we find that in talking with people and giving workshops, that people seem to respond to the idea of working toward a solution. Folks are overwhelmed. This is a big problem. It's too big. It's in the future. It's somewhere else. I can't do anything about it. So we prefer the approach of drawdown, which breaks down solutions. And the food sector is one that is very important. In fact, food waste, diminishing food waste and eating more plants are among the two top out of 100 solutions. We were also blown away by this. We had no idea. People usually think of fossil fuel energy, all that's true, but food is
Hmm.
also very important. Recently, Drawdown looked around and saw that more progress is being made in other sectors than the food sector. So just this year, they launched a special initiative on the food sector and recently had some webinars connecting food itself, what we eat and what we do with it, with land use and our agricultural system. So this isn't about bad mouthing cows. It's about the whole system that uses a disproportionate amount of land, um,
Uh-huh.
ruining land to create food that isn't that good for us. It's the whole system. So
Hmm.
eating more plants fits into that larger view of how we treat our home planet. And my analogy was to think about our body. We want our own body to be healthy. Well, we're part of the Earth's body. We're part of that body. So we want her to be healthy as well, or we can't be healthy. So they go together.
So, Ellen, how does a plant-rich diet fit into this strategy for reducing greenhouse gas emissions?
Well, agriculture and livestock use a disproportionate amount of land. And unfortunately, with toxic byproducts in products put into the land in our traditional large agricultural system. And the cattle, primarily cattle is the biggest emitter. The cattle themselves emit methane. The cattle use large swaths of land full of toxins, which emit, and our carbon has no place to rest anymore without forests and things
Hmm.
growing on the land. So it's not just the burping cow, it's the whole system that land use and livestock and agriculture on a large scale, growing gazillions of acres of food for the cows. It's all out of proportion, and all of that emits gas.
Uh, Ellen, well, in your opinion, why is it important that folks make these dietary adjustments in regards to helping combat climate change?
Well, we really think this is such a no-brainer because it's easy. One doesn't have to buy anything like a vehicle. One can just start little by little by little in the kitchen right now without adding uh, anything that you have to go get, right? And you can
Hmm.
do it incrementally. It's not a matter of from one day to the next. One can, as Mark mentioned, find fun recipes and start with something and then create habits And as he referred to it, it's a journey. And since every bit of this contributes to emitting less gas, everyone can do something right away.
And Mark, for folks who might seem a little overwhelmed by this, what's one small change that someone could do today that could help them get started on a more plant-based lifestyle?
Well, one of the things one of our groups years ago before COVID, and we kind of got shut down for a while, they had a small group that came together and they decided they would just do meatless Mondays. One day a week, they would have plant-based meals. And from that, they had some initial success and they grew from that. So, I mean, it's just take one meal, one meal that perhaps you thought, you need actually an animal protein and try something different. And as we've said, these individual actions, when people do this and they have some success, it's given from social science that they see themselves in a different light, and they're more likely to engage at a greater depth in more profound ways than just perhaps having a plant-rich meal. So as Ellen said, this this is a great entry solution. It allows people to participate where they are. They don't have to buy anything new other than their food, and it allows them to engage. And the cool thing about this solution is it's not just window dressing. I mean, the direct and indirect emissions from our food systems are 34%. That's over a third of global greenhouse gas emissions. So they're actually contributing to the overall impact of reducing global warming. Um, so.
Well, I want to thank both of you so much for taking time to speak with us today about this. We've been talking with Mark Masaryk, member of the Boise Community Climate Action Committee, and retired educator Ellen Bush. We've been talking about their upcoming Thursday presentation at the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute in Boise on healing yourself and the planet with plant-rich eating. I'm Gemma Gaudette, and this is Idaho Matters.